What's up, artists? It's Miss Quizler. This week we're learning all about value, and I want to show you how I made these two different value scales using a couple of different art supplies. Check it! To begin my value scales, I'm going to trace some rectangles using my library card across my page. So I want a total of 5 rectangles or squares, kind of like this. Once I've traced all of my rectangles, then I'm going to set up my values going from lightest to darkest, and I'm going to begin on the darkest side. So I'm going to color in this rectangle with my pencil using the hardest pressure I can without breaking my pencil tip too much. I want this one to be as black as possible. Next, I'm going to move on to the next lightest value, and I'm going to color this in with my pencil using slightly lighter pressure. So I'm not pressing quite as hard as I did in the last box, but I want this one to be kind of a dark gray. Then I'll move on to the next lightest box, and I'm going to color this one in using even lighter pressure. This one is going to be a medium gray color. You can notice how I'm changing the grip on my pencil to help me use lighter pressure. When I hold it down closer to the eraser, it's easier for me to press more lightly. Okay, I'm going to scoot my hand down a little bit more towards my eraser and use the lightest pressure yet. For this one, this is my lightest gray, and I'm going to leave the first box white. That leaves me with a value scale from the lightest value all the way on down to the darkest. Next, I'm going to take my library card back out and trace another set of 5 rectangles, and I'm going to make another value scale using a different art supply. For this scale, I'm going to use a Sharpie. Again, I'll start with the darkest box. I'm going to color this one all the way in. I'm going to try to cover almost every single white spot that's peeking through. Because when I'm coloring with a Sharpie, I can't really change the amount of pressure that I'm using to make it lighter. I'm going to use a different technique where I make some up and down lines and I leave a little bit of white space in between. Kind of like this. In the next box, I'm going to make the same types of lines, but I'm going to leave even more white space in between my lines, like this. So you can see how the value looks a little bit lighter than the previous one. And in this one, I'm going to leave the most white space in between, kind of like this, and I'll leave the first box completely white. So there are my 2 value scales, one in pencil, one in Sharpie. Can't wait to see how you're using value. Thanks, friends.